Now let's welcome to the Bite Size Pictures show the Managing Director of the Campfire Film Foundation, Mr. Richard Leigh. Welcome.
How are you?
I'm very well. How about yourself today?
All right.
Thanks for being a part of the show today. So when it comes to the Campfire Film Foundation, this is just an inspirational organisation. It's amazing. The mission statement itself asserts to helping teachers lead discussions that can change lives using the power of short films. Wow, what an amazing statement for one thing.
That's right.
Can you expand upon what this actually means and how it was all kind of prompted to create the organisation itself?
There's a really long story and a short one, and I'll try and keep it short, but the idea of empowering teachers is really what we're on about. We love the fact that young people can get on a YouTube and Vimeo and find films and even think about how films might be good for learning stuff.
Yeah.
But teachers are always looking for resources to go, how can I make this topic engaging or whatever. We should be using films to build people up and bring people together. And I think, short films in particular are great. The whole campfire metaphor is like you sit around, you get together with friends and you go, this is a relaxed, a chilled time. We're going to take some time out to think deeply about life and ask some big questions, ideas, concepts, about exploring really big ideas. So in a nutshell, a lot of films that we're making, fantastic for teaching and being didactic and going, this is what you've got to learn, kids. Here's a summary, the teacher can walk out and grab a coffee and come back, right, did you learn it?
Yeah,
now let's
beautiful.
move on to the next thing, yeah.
So speaking about this kind of educational films along the way then, I know that back when I was in school, if my teacher said, all right class, we're watching an educational film, most of us, myself included, will start to moan and groan and go to feel, oh miss, I don't want to watch it.
That's right, exactly.
But what you guys are trying to do is step away from that stereotype and actually start to create films and distribute films with impact that kind of trigger the emotional, intellectual and spiritual levels as well, which is beautiful. So can you draw upon that more so and what exactly the kind of films you guys are looking for?
About those nebulous words in education, spiritual, and even religious sometimes, and that word we have to be careful with because that means so many different things to different people. So rather than use those words, we just talk about big ideas and deep learning and all those sort of things because at the end of the day we're not about pushing any particular barrow or ideology. It's about going, these are some films, let's learn on a really deep level about all sorts of things. So that goes into every area of the curriculum. And we've been, if I learned anything from my time making educational videos, it's got to be aligned to the curriculum. And now we have the Australian curriculum. It's all quite neatly laid out, although it'll probably change in another 6 months. So, films about, I have to remember.
That's okay, but this is part of the educational spectrum.
Exactly, it's exactly about, art, literacy and media we put together because English, you might remember, is great about exploring representation and ideas and that sort of thing, and that fits neatly with art. Civics and citizenship, which is that sort of more philosophy and religion kind of stuff comes together. Health and wellbeing. So in the health and wellbeing, it's really interesting. We look for films that are uplifting. So a lot of the other ones can be quite dark and you can end depressed or whatever. But the health and wellbeing ones particularly, we look for things that are hopeful, particularly for young people and teachers working with them. There's all the other categories, so history and geography, etc. There's an interesting area of the Australian curriculum called cross-curriculum priority areas, which is fantastic for filmmakers because often a film will fit into lots of different categories. There's 3 of them in the Australian curriculum. One's about sustainability and the environment, the other's about Aboriginal, Indigenous cultures, and the other is, what's the other one about? The other is about Asia awareness, so Australia's connection with Asia, which is a really big and important one.
Beautiful.
So we have all of those. We started just collecting any old film and then going, how are we going to slot those into an award? Now we're saying to filmmakers, you come to us and apply, my film will be best in this category. So we're hoping filmmakers choose where they fit with their film in their curriculum.
Okay, fantastic. So Campfire is actually a hybrid of a distribution channel plus a film festival. Let's talk about that, shall we? The film festival itself, what's on offer for this festival?
Awards, eyeballs and royalties. There you go, there's another summary.
Tell me about those ones, Trish.
Well, the awards, as I said, are at the film festival. So every 2 years there's awards and they look quite groovy.
Great.
And there's prizes that go with that, and they get to stand up on the stage and receive their award, and it's quite a good thing. But the eyeballs is the really important part because they're getting in front of an audience that are, sometimes uni age, but generally sort of from primary school right through to secondary, of, very pliable minds exploring big ideas in the world. So if you want to be in that space as a filmmaker, getting your film out there, then this is a really great place to do that. The royalties part, though, is often, when we talk dollars, then filmmakers go, oh, give me some dollars.
Yeah.
Now, there's a catch with that, and there will be a 50-50 split of profits that we make, but we are filmmakers ourselves as well, and we want money too. So we're at a point where we're still what they call break even. So until we break even, we can't give any royalties back. So once it kicks in, though, there'll be a 50-50 split.
That's fantastic.
So it's a kind of a promise, and but as I say, often the most important thing for a lot of filmmakers, even if filmmakers have had a film sitting on the shelf and maybe it's done the regular festival, so they're not doing anything, get it on board with us, because it's probably really got a good life left in it, and it may as well be out there being used.
It has some legs to stand on and for everyone to see as well, which is fantastic. And so not only does it have that kind of profit share like we're kind of talking about, perhaps with the royalties later on in the future, but with the awards itself, you're saying that there's all these other areas which they can actually win awards in. So there's different categories like you're talking about earlier, which is fantastic along the way. What's the most kind of common areas which the films are distributed in, and what's ones which kind of need a bit more of a push?
Look, overwhelmingly, the English teachers of the world rule. So, because English is, everyone studies English. When you go through it, you've got to do English, whether it's as a second language or first, doesn't matter. But you're talking about ideas. How does stuff get represented? All of those kind of issues. So English is a really big one. The humanities, so anything that deals with sort of geography and history is also really big. Anything environmental, we're always looking for Aboriginal, Indigenous content. Anything about sustainability, I mentioned, but
environment, like you're saying earlier.
Environmental stuff. Look, it's pretty much, if you've got a good film that you can watch and it's less than 11 minutes, we will have it.
Wow.
We can find a home for it.
So does it need to have it like an idea to perhaps raise questions or things like that along the way?
Well, and in answer, that's probably worth taking you back to that diagram we have of the educational video spectrum. And there we talk about, I use the colours red, green and blue because, that's the traditional cathode ray gun that you have on your old TV screens. It's not so old anymore. But, we talk about the blue films being the didactic films that, explain this is how this plugs into this, or this is how, you add.
Okay, so like just quite basic instructional almost.
Films, which a lot of filmmakers don't make. So we're more interested in the green area is, I kind of think of in green being an environmental colour, and there's a lot of environmental films that are about, passionately pushing an idea and going, you got to change the world, you got to use less, electricity, use less and this. So they're not always about environmental issues, but they're films that have an agenda. So in the simplest form, a green film is like a TV ad or something that
pushing a certain idea.
Pushing an idea, and it's from a point of view. So you get to the end of the film and you go, I want to buy this product or join this cause or do this thing or whatever.
And the dominant one you guys like the most is
the one that
red.
we like is the red one. And the red films are those, and I kind of think of red as, the blood and the heart and the guts and the, that really raw stuff that rather than get to the end of the film and go,
I'm going to buy that toothpaste.
I either buy that or now I understand that. Now I don't understand that. Now I actually have 10 questions that I want to ask. Or now in another month, I'm still thinking about that. Or I actually, I want to revisit that again. And
fantastic.
There's a famous actor, John Flaus, who I met up with once, and he had this great little phrase called inexhaustible to meditation. I thought that's beautiful. And just that idea that no matter how many times you look at it, you'll get something more out of it. And I show these films in schools every time, every different group of teachers I go in and show those films to. Someone will say, oh, did you see the whatever? Or did you get that, the way the kid was raised up on the father's head?
Formulates questions and opinions, and they keep asking, which is great.
Exactly.
When it comes to general submissions and things like that, what can we do to be a part of it? So what do filmmakers need to do?
You can jump onto the website and submit your film 24/7, 365 days of the year.
Wow.
Really easy.
So there are not any kind of like dates or stipulations or things like that?
No, the stipulations are on the site, and it pretty much comes down to, look, is there no, full-on sex scenes, is there the languages. We do have some F-bombs in some of the films, so, we get around some of those, but as long as it's, we have an MA 15 plus rating for some films, so there are some challenging films there, but we draw the line at R-rated films. But as long as it meets those basic, you can probably show it in a school, then, and it's under 11 minutes, then you pretty much, and it's a good film, then submit it on the site. And there is a process in that we have, I call them intake periods, but it's more kind of consideration periods.
Sure.
Now I'm yet to, I think they'll go up on the website within the next couple of weeks, but it's about 4 times in the year we actually say, well, what's come in the last, term, pretty much school term, have we got enough of that? We need a bit more of that, we need some films in this area.
Yeah.
And then we'll go, okay, we're going to bang these up now. But that doesn't always exclude those that haven't made it for that round, but we generally, have an intake of about 4 times a year. But it doesn't stop filmmakers jumping on the site now.
Ta-da, here it is.
Here it is. Here's
Beautiful. Well, Richard, thank you so much for joining us here at Bite Size Pictures.
No worries.
For more information, of course, guys, make sure you do head to our Facebook page or to our website for more information about the Campfire Film Foundation. But get creating. We have till 2016, so jump on board and head to the Campfire Film Foundation website and to, of course, bitesizepictures.com.